Hey guys, it's me, it's PokemonTripHD, and we are back today with it's a different kind of video compared to, usual league battles and stuff. This video is a draft analysis type sort of thing for a new league that I joined called the VPL, or the Valhalla Pokemon League. Now, this is a league created by a good friend of mine, Skyrander, a really awesome guy. I might leave everyone's links in the description down below. I don't know, you just gotta click the description to check. But there's a bunch of really cool people in this league, like Skyrander, of course, he created it. There's a lot of people from the Battle Union in here, like Dan, like Quill, like Frito, Josh, who is an ex-TVU member, and just a lot of people in there from the Battle Union, so that's pretty cool. Also, a lot of new people who aren't in the Battle Union. I think there's like 6 people from the Battle Union in this league, something like that. There's also, like I said, plenty of people that aren't from the Battle Union in this league, like Bluesy, like Tesla, a lot of people like that. And there's also Leo, or 6foot Hacks. A lot of you guys probably know him from the UCL. He's also in this league. And there's a lot of people like that in this league. Also, you guys can see my mouse right here. Hello, mouse. This isn't going to be face cam because, personally, I don't feel like doing face cam right now. I'm like dead tired from college. College sucks. Never go to college, ever. Please save yourself and don't go to college. Yeah, college sucks. So I'm super duper tired, and I don't feel like setting it up and all that blah 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 ness. And I just think this is a lot better too because it's on Showdown. It's a little team analysis type thing like this on Showdown. I don't think I need face cam for this. It doesn't really make much sense to put a face cam, so it's not going to be face cam. And yeah, I think I got some of the preliminary stuff out of the way. I feel like there's some more things I'm missing. The league uploads dates. There's no specific upload date. The battling starts next week, 1 week from when this goes up, I believe. Well, it can start before that, but the battling when everyone's really going to battle is going to start about like 5 days after this video goes up, because I'm hoping this gets up on Saturday. I'm recording this Friday, hoping this gets up Saturday. So if this gets up Saturday, then battling is going to start in about 5 days. So the upload date, there is no specific upload date. We aren't required to have a team analysis or anything like that. We are required to upload the battle though, not team analysis or draft analysis. Those aren't required, but they're just things that you can do. I'm not sure if I'm going to be doing team analysis. I might just do them in the same exact video as the battle. I think that that would be cool. And then if you don't want to watch team analysis, just click the timestamp in the description and skip it, and then maybe like a live battle after that. Because like I said, I'm really lazy. I don't feel like doing a bunch of recordings and stuff, so I might just do that. I think that would be better. But let me know what you guys think. I would love to hear your thoughts and opinions on whether you would want me to do the team analysis in a separate video or on the same video or what have you. Just let me know. Give me your thoughts in the comment section down below. Also, give me your thoughts on the team that I drafted, which I will be going over today. You can't see any team right now because even if I go back here, you can't see anything yet. I'm gonna use these 2 things. I'm gonna like put them in as I go. I think that's I think it's better like that. But yeah, so this draft happened about a week ago. I think about a week ago it happened, and basically the draft went like I feel like there's more things that I should talk about. Upload dates, like I was talking about, upload dates. There's no specific upload date, but I'm probably going to be uploading my videos on either Saturday or Sunday. I think that's better. If there's a team analysis, I'll probably do team analysis Saturday and then battle Sunday. If there's no team analysis, I'll just upload everything in one video on Saturday. So that's why I want you guys to let me know what you would rather watch. Would you rather watch 2 separate videos like how it was in the Battle Union, or would you rather watch just one really long video like that? Also, let me know if you want to see live battles, post-com battles, the live post-com thing that I did sometimes in the Battle Union. Just let me know. This league is a non-playoff league. It's just a regular season, and you play every single team once. So there's 11 weeks. Because there are 12 teams, there's 11 weeks. Because you're one team, you play all the other teams once. And yeah, that's 11 weeks, not 12, because you can't play yourself. So yeah, it's like that. And then the winner of the league is whoever has the best record. And if records are tied, differential. If differential's tied, I have no idea. I don't think that's gonna happen though. I think it might be, if differential's tied, it will just be who won in their one battle together. Because if that's a tie, then I really have no idea. But yeah, so that's kind of goes. Winner of the league actually wins $50, which is pretty cool. I'm not going to be aiming for the $50. If I win the league, awesome. I'm not going to accept the $50 just because that's not the way I roll. That's not my style. Not to, bag on anyone who does accept the $50. That's just not the way I like to go, like to roll. I'm in the league for fun. I do want to win, of course. I don't like losing. I'm a very competitive person. But, I'm not in it for the money. So, yeah. With that being said, you know, if I did really just want to win the money, I'd probably just draft, you know, Mega Sableye, Talonflame, stuff like that. I'll just hard stall, Amoonguss, everything. Quagsire actually is I think Quagsire is you know. I draft hard stall if I really wanted to win. But like I said, I'm in this to have fun. I wanted to draft a lot of Pokemon that I haven't used yet. This is going to be my last league I'm in before Sun and Moon. Sun and Moon comes out, is it November, December? I don't know, something like that. It comes out soon, in, you know, a few months, less than 4 months. So can't wait for that. Really excited for that. Really hyped for that. Sun and Moon's gonna be awesome. And you know, it's been over 5 minutes. I should probably get started with the analyzing and stuff like that. That's why I don't usually do this. You know, if there's face cam, this would be even longer too. But anyways, this is how the draft went. We drafted about a week ago, like I said. And the draft is UCL style draft, where you basically draft straight out of tiers. Now, we did not ban anything. We just wanted to have some fun for this league, so we're not banning anything. You can draft a broken Pokemon like Mega Metagross, wherever it is. Where's Mega Metagross? You could draft that. You could draft the Mega Latias, which I don't know why they're not here. Why are they not next to? Why is not Latias Mega? Are they in BL? I don't know where they are, but you can draft both Mega Latias. We don't feel like banning anything. We of course are abiding by the Smogon rules, like, you know, Baton Pass Clause, things like that. But we're just drafting straight out of the tiers with nothing banned because we feel like that's, you know, it's more fun. And basically in the draft there were things like snipe action, where say you pick something someone else wanted, they can use a snipe action and they can take that Pokemon. And snipe action only works once. You know, you just snipe that Pokemon and that Pokemon's yours. No one else can snipe action that from you. And the person who got snipe action just takes another poke, and that poke cannot be snipe action because they previously got snipe action, blah, blah, blah. Everyone gets one snipe action throughout the entire draft. If you save your snipe action, you get to upgrade your Pokemon, you know, from say UU to BL, or from, you know, RU to BL2, etc. like that. You gotta upgrade them if you keep your snipe action throughout the entire draft. Personally, I did use my snipe action. I didn't think I was gonna use it, but I ended up using it on Pokemon that you guys will see later. I believe it was my 6th pick that I used that snipe action. You'll be saying, why the heck do you use snipe action on your 6th pick? What are you doing, Trip? You're crazy. And I understand that. You know, I'm pretty crazy, but it was just a Pokemon that I really wanted to try out. So, and I couldn't believe that it was still there. So that's why I did it. But anyways, let's get started with the draft. So for my first pick, I actually decided to pick Mega Latias. I picked Mega Latias, and then wait for it. And then as soon as I picked it, Bluesy actually sniped me. And I was actually pretty happy because I didn't want Mega Latias. Now you might be saying, Trip, why do you not want Mega Latias? What is wrong with you, dude? You're crazy. 700 BST, and you don't want this thing. What's wrong with you? And you know, basically every stat's above 100 except HP. But 8 HP is solid, coupled with, you know, 120 defense and 150 speed death. 8 HP is actually pretty darn solid for that. But yeah, the reason I didn't want Mega Latias is because personally, this is all just my opinion. Like I said, draft analysis, they're all just analysis. I don't know what you call it. But basically just your opinion, the talker's opinion. And my opinion is that Mega Latias is a terrific Pokemon. Honestly, it's a great Pokemon. But it has many weaknesses, like, you know, just with its typing, it's weak to a lot of things. Now, with its typing, it also resists a lot of things. Yeah, that's true. But it's weak to a lot of things, and Mega Latias is a Pokemon that's just so threatening to teams. You might be saying that's a great thing. It's so threatening, and it basically can't get O-code by almost anything because of its crazy defensive stats. But with that, it's such a threat to teams that teams honestly over-prep for Mega Latias, and they make Mega Latias not a problem because of over-prepping for it. Now, that's the reason I personally didn't want it. Plus, it uses up your Mega slot, and honestly, Mega Latias isn't a Pokemon that I want to try. Personally, I used Latias, and it wasn't really in League format, but it was in like the TTM tourney, like in the March Madness. I used it. I wasn't really a big fan of it. It was just kind of there. It was like a support poke. Now, Latios might be different. The Megas are probably different also, but it's just I didn't like it. It left a bad taste in my mouth, and it's not a Pokemon that I really wanted to try, so that's why I'm not using it. I'm not trying to talk trash on Bluesy for wanting. You know, it's a terrific Pokemon. If your opponent doesn't prep for it, he's gonna get swept by it. It's that good, but I just feel like people over prep for it. It makes it a lot less of a problem than it should be, especially as your Mega slot. You know, I think your Megas should be a big, important part of your team. Though, personally, I almost like never rely on my Mega, except in the battle union. You know, I relied on Mega Lopunny a lot, but you know, before that, I never ever relied on my Mega much. So, you know, it might sound like a hypocrite saying that, but I just don't think. You know, your Mega should be a Pokemon. It's already been 9 minutes. Oh my gosh, your Mega should be a Pokemon that your team can count on. Your team can always fall back on, and your Mega should be a Pokemon that can consistently do well. Whether it be offensively or defensively. I just feel like a Pokemon that should be consistent, you know. Pokemon like, well, the Mega I picked, I think it's kind of consistent. It might not be, but you know, Pokemon like Mega Gardevoir consistently offensive. You know, they consistently break walls. It's a strong wall breaker, you know? Pokemon like that. Pokemon like Mega Medicham, another consistent wall breaker. Mega Metagross consistently wrecks teams because of how great it is. Mega Sableye, consistently a strong defensive wall. Mega Slowbro even, you know, it's crazy. Just Pokemon like that, you know. Mega Altaria, yeah, actually Mega Altaria isn't super consistent, but it's very, very good if you use it well. But yeah, Pokemon like that, I think they should be, you know, the center of the team. It's already been so long. Oh my, this is going to be such a long video. But yeah, so that's why I didn't really want to use Mega Latias. I picked it just to get snipe actioned so that I can be safe to pick up my big boy, Kyurem Black. So I picked up Kyurem Black after Mega Latias was sniped. It's Kyurem Black's nickname is going to be same nickname as I nicknamed the regular Kyurem in the Battle Union. Now, Kyurem was so much fun to use in the Battle Union. I actually really wanted to try Kyurem Black because of that. Kyurem Black is, of course, better than Kyurem. I don't know how much better because I haven't used it yet, of course. But it's definitely better, you know, even stats-wise. 700 BST, same as Mega Latias. I believe Kyurem has a crazy BST too. I think it's 660. Yeah, Kyurem even has a crazy BST. The difference between Kyurem and Kyurem Black, of course, Kyurem Black has 40 higher attack, but it loses 10 special attack, but it gains 10 defense. So it's kind of like Kyurem Black is a physically offensive threat. It can also be special offensive, with its 120 attack is crazy. It's not as high as Kyurem's with 130, but it's mainly there to be physical, and it can be mixed. It can be special. That's the great thing about Kyurem Black. And with base 95 speed, it's actually a solid wall breaker. Probably the best wall breaker in League format, I say, other than things like Mega Metagross, which is allowed in this league. I think Kyurem Black is the best wall breaker in League format. It is impossible to check defensively. I say impossible because it is impossible to check defensively. You can't. There's no Pokemon in the game that can, switch into Kyurem Black safely. In League format at least, no Pokemon that can switch into Kyurem Black safely. Depending on what moves it go for. Now you might be saying, well, there are some things that can switch into blah 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 blah. There are things that switch into certain moves, but like just going through this, Ice Beam, Amoonguss. Now, of course, berries are always a thing, but what is that one move? Fusion Bolt? I think it's Fusion Bolt. Or maybe Volt Strike. I think it's Fusion Bolt though. And then you can just run HP Fighting, Ice Beam, and then maybe Chansey, but you can just run a sub Kyurem with Hone Claws and you can beat a Chansey. Kyurem has the ability to beat even Dragonite. Multi-scale doesn't matter. We have Terrible. Mega Venusaur doesn't matter. We have Terrible, which basically breaks through their abilities. Skarmory, Fusion Bolt, Oko that thing, because 30 is not a thing. It doesn't even matter when we have Terrible. So that's just the great thing. Even Gengar, we can Earth Power it because Terrible. So it's just Kyurem Black is such a strong Pokemon. It's impossible to check defensively, which means you have to check it offensively. You can, of course, run things like a Berry with T-Wave or like, on a defensive poke or something like that. You can always do some crazy, innovative stuff to check Kyurem Black, which is always a thing. Of course, it's always going to be a thing. But just, from a looking at it standpoint, from a team matchup standpoint, you can't check Kyurem Black at all in any tier. There's no checks to it in OU. There's not going to be any checks to it in tiers below that. There are pokes like Crest, of course, but like I said, fat, bulky Pokemon like that, you just run sub and you can sub up for them and you can beat them. We'll sub up on them and then beat them. You know what I mean? It's not going to be very difficult to beat them. Kyurem Black has the ability to beat every single Pokemon in the game. Just depending on how it goes, it can almost live every single hit, with its crazy bulk. 100 defense, 90 special defense with 125 HP is really, really bulky, actually. It's crazy bulky. So, yeah, I think I talked about Kyurem Black way too much. Like I said, it's a Pokemon I really, really want to try. I'm going to be comparing it straight to Kyurem, but I think that's not how I should compare it. I should be just comparing it as its own Pokemon, but because they're both Dragon Ice, I'm probably going to end up comparing it to Kyurem. And, Kyurem's special offensive, while Kyurem Black's usually physically offensive. But yeah, we'll see how it goes. I'm really excited to use this thing. Like I said, it's the best wall breaker in the game. I'm really excited to use this game. Not this game, what the heck, this poke. I'm super excited to use this poke. It also gets the best move pool in the game, I think. Not the best, like, guaranteed, but it gets a super solid move pool. Like, it gets the move pool it needs to get, basically. Fusion Bolt, physical offensive, it gets the move pool it needs. Special offensive, it gets the move pool it needs. I'm not going to go over every move. You can see the moves. You know the moves probably by now. It even gets Zen Headbutt. I just noticed that. It gets Zen Headbutt. It's pretty good. So I really like it. You have to check this thing offensively. You can't check it defensively, which is probably the best thing. And Kyurem Black beats offense if it's slow, and it beats defense, which is, the best part about Kyurem Black in my opinion. I'm really excited to use this bad boy. And yeah, I can't wait. Now next up, I actually wanted to get Tornadus Theron, but that was actually sniped from me, which was terrible. I ended up getting Zapdos instead. Zapdos is a very nice poke. I did use it in the IPA Season 2 for a few matches. I didn't use it much because, I ended up leaving that league after a little bit due to, not having enough time and stuff, and I wanted to focus on the Battle League Union. Alright, I had to take a water break there really quick. It's probably hurting me drinking my water. But anyways, I picked Zapdos. Like I said, I wanted Tornadus Theron because it's super duper fast. It pairs with Kyurem Black very well. Other than that, they both have a rock weakness. But besides that, they pair together really, really well. Offensively, they pair very, very, very well together. I didn't want to build a really bulky team like I usually end up doing. So I kind of wanted to build more offensively because I feel like offense is a funner style to play. In my opinion, defense is always cool occasionally, but I like offense better in my opinion. I think it's more fun. So I ended up picking Zapdos. Like I said, Tornadus Theron was sniped. I was debating on this pick for a while. I decided to go with Zapdos because of the mega choice that I wanted. I just burped. That was nasty. But the mega choice I wanted, which I'll show you guys after this. Let me nickname this. Nicknaming Zapdos Sana. They're both genderless, by the way. Both genderless, yeah, they're both genderless. So I ended up picking Zapdos, like I said, because I used Zapdos in the IPA before, and it's a very solid poke. It's not the greatest poke ever, but it's a very solid poke. It gets Volt Switch and U-Turn, which is really nice. I think it's in my opinion, this is my opinion, remember, it's the best electric type in the format. I say that, take that with a grain of salt, not actual salt, but don't get salty about me saying that, take that. Why am I all the way down here in LC? What the heck? All right, let's go up, all the way to OU. With that, I don't mean it's the best offensive. I just think it's the best all-around electric type in League format. Now, I haven't used very many electric types. I have used a few, like Thundurus T, Electros. I can't even think of any more other than Zapdos off the top of my head. But I think it's a very solid electric type, honestly. And it's really annoying right now. I don't know what's wrong with my computer. I fixed it. But yeah, it has the ability to roost up, which not many electric types have that ability to gain reliable recovery. Jolteon has Wish Pass. I did use Jolteon before too, I forgot. Jolteon has Wish Pass, but it's not as reliable as Roost. Roost is just so much better. Now, Roost does lose its flying type, makes it weak to ground, but it also makes it not weak to things like ice and rock. So it's always, it also resists electric if it does Roost. But anyways, I think it's a really solid electric type, mainly because, 125 attack. Zapdos is usually bulky, but it doesn't need to be bulky, which is the awesome part. People are probably going to prep for the bulky variant more so than the offensive variant, which means that when you bring the offensive variant, you're probably going to surprise them, might catch them off guard, and it can actually do a lot of work, which is great. It also has Baton Pass, which is honestly, I really want to try that. I don't really use Baton Pass much, but I do want to try that. And 100 base speed is solid. It's faster than Kyurem Black, which is nice. I really do like it, and it has, it has T-Wave, the best move in the game. It has T-Wave, and it has Static, the best ability in the game, confirmed. But yeah, it's really solid. I really do like it. It's a T-Wave immunity too, which is nice. It's a pivot. It's mainly a pivot, which is probably what I'm going to end up using it mostly as a strong pivot. And like I said, I really do like using Zapdos. It's a really strong poke. It's not going to be it's going to be the backbone of the team. It's not going to be like the main killer of the team. I feel like it might be, one game of the season, 2 games of the season, it might be, but it's going to be the backbone of the team. Every team needs a backbone, and I feel like Zapdos is going to be the backbone for this team. Now, it is weak to rock along with Kyurem, but I'm just going to compensate for that with the rest of the draft that is to come. And, it's not going to end up being too big of an issue. And, yeah, it also gets Defog, which is nice. We're going to need, getting Defoggers or Spinners. It's always a good thing. And, yeah, so that's the Zapdos. It also gets a decent move pool. Not the greatest. It gets things like Heat Wave, Extra Sensory, Signal Beam, moves like that. It gets, I'll show its moves. It gets Drill Peck. It gets moves like that. And it's going to be fun to use. And I did like using it before, like I said, so I'm looking forward to using it again. The next Pokemon I ended up choosing is the Mega. And I ended up going for Mega Scizor. Now, you might be saying, Mega Scizor, huh? Mega Scizor is actually really overrated in League format. You might be saying that. But personally, I think it's a very solid Mega. I did face Mega Scizor a few times, and it's actually a really solid Mega. The only weak point to Mega Scizor is that it's 4 times weak to fire. But again, that's its only weakness, and it resists so many things because of its bug typing and steel typing. It resists so many types, which is great. It's of course not resistant to rock because it's part bug type, even though it's a steel type. And steel, it's a terrific type to have. It's not, it might be the best type. I don't know. It depends how you look at it, but it's a terrific type to have because it resists dragon and it resists fairy, two of the most prominent types in the game currently. You know, in ORAS, it resists those, and its only weakness, like I said, is fire. So basically, you just cover fire types with the rest of your team, and it's not going to be too big of an issue. As long as you don't have a lot of Pokemon weak to fire, it's not going to be a big issue because, you know, if you waste the slots on HP fire, you just swap out on HP fire. It's easy. Easy. And plus, you're not going to leave Mega Scizor in on a fire type. Fire type's pretty much wall Mega Scizor because, you know, bug, fire resist bug, and fire resist steel, which is terrible. But it gets Technician, it gets a lot of cool moves. If you guys remember, I used Scizor in the Battle Union Season 2. Gets a lot of cool moves that Technician can actually boost. So really excited to use Mega Scizor. When I used Scizor, I actually ended up using it mostly as a bulky poke, you know, defensive poke. But this Mega Scizor, it's an offensive threat. It's a very strong offensive threat. You mess up in game, you know, in battle against the Mega Scizor, and you risk getting swept because, you know, SD or agility. And it also gets Baton Pass, which is cool. But you risk getting swept if you mess up against this thing. If you let it set up, you can pretty much get swept. So it's a very strong Pokemon that you have to play smart around. You have to play smart against. You have to prep well against. Even if you have resistances to, you know, BP, which is its main move that kills pokes, that's fine because, you know, the rest of the team compensates for that. Mega Scizor's name is also Haley. I'm naming it after, you know, Scizor from the Battle Union, of course. You know, named her Haley, and naming this one Haley too. Also, I forgot Kieran Black. I'm probably gonna end up making it shiny more often than not because green is so green. If you guys don't know, green is one of my favorite colors. Green and blue, they're probably my two favorite colors. So, well, green, blue, black. You know, I like those colors a lot. But anyways, I don't know what I'm talking about. So Mega Scizor, 600 BST, which is solid. It's not super fast. You know, my team so far isn't very fast. My team later on is also not very fast, but it's a very strong Pokemon. 140 defense. I believe that's like same as Skarmory, or like higher than Skarmory, something like that. Yeah, same as Skarmory, but it has higher HP than Skarmory. So, and it gets Roost too, and it doesn't lose its flying type when it roosts up. So it's bulkier than Skarmory, though it misses out on an item, of course. It's a really great poke. It's a really strong poke. It can be a pivot. It can be a wall breaker. It can be so many things. It can be a defogger too. It gets defog. It can be so many things that Scizor is just such a threat, you know? It can also run a lot of nice niche special moves, you know, hidden power too. So it can do a lot of crazy things. I didn't guess Monies, I didn't know that, but it can do a lot of crazy things. It even gets Pursuit. It can do a lot of crazy things. Tailwind support too. Zapdos also has Tailwind, but yeah, I can do a lot of crazy things. I'm looking forward to using Mega Scizor because I didn't really get to use Scizor offensively much. So Mega Scizor getting to use it offensively is going to be a lot of fun, and I can't wait. Also, we have 2 defoggers already, so 2 out of 3 pokes already defoggers, which is solid. Though we don't have any hazards so far. But next up on the team, now that's the OU tier finished. Like I said before, I wanted to get Tornadus with, I think these two with Tornadus would be, these two, Mega Scizor and Kieran Black with Tornadus would be such a strong pair. But anyways, I like Zapdos. Zapdos is a solid poke. It also takes care of the electric typing. If it had like Volt Absorb, I think Zapdos would be pretty much perfect, but unfortunately it does not. But that's fine. Next up, we're diving into the UU tier, and in the UU tier, my first pick, this is a poke that I wanted since the beginning of the draft, and I'm happy that it made it back to me, is Reuniclus, and I'm actually going to be naming Reuniclus Teddy. It's going to be female. Reuniclus, also, I'm not going over these Pokemon's abilities much because they have, you know, it's pretty singular abilities, you know, terrible. Pressure, static, it's probably going to end up being static most of the time. And this, it's pretty much Technician all the time. You know, these two aren't even useful much compared to Technician. This guy, though, this girl, Teddy or girl, actually has a pretty niche ability for, all its abilities have a pretty niche niches, you know. I don't know what the word is. I don't know. Forgive me. Overcoat is pretty solid because it's immune to Spore, basically. It's also immune to, you know, Sandstorm and Hail, but that's Magic Guard. So, you know, if you just want to be immune to those, so you'd probably just run Magic Guard. But being more immune to Spore, to Sleep Powder, it's actually very, very solid. Because that means you don't need to switch your Grass type into pokes like Roserade, who carry Sleep Powder. You don't need to switch your Grass type in, or maybe even, you know, Mega Venusaur. You don't need to switch your Grass type in, because, you know, they could run Sludge Bomb. You can just switch this guy in if he has Overcoat, and you'll be good. So, Magic Guard is also, it's very solid too. Which means that, you know, Toxic doesn't really affect it. Sand and Hail, they don't hurt it. Things like that. Even like Rocks doesn't take damage, Spikes, T-Spikes, you know, it doesn't really affect it with Magic Guard, which is really solid. Magic Guard is, of course, going to be the most, prevalent ability. Though Regenerator is also decent. It's not the greatest, but it's decent. Getting 1/3 of your HP every time you swap out and then swap back in, it's decent. I can see myself using Regenerator Overcoat a few times depending on matchups and such. But anyways, that's Uniqlo's abilities. But its stats now looking at its stats, okay. It doesn't have the greatest, speed, but other than that, it has solid stats for what it needs to do. It doesn't use its attack or speed much. It doesn't need to use its attack or speed much at all, really, Having speed would be great, of course, but it doesn't need speed to do good. Having 110 HP is so solid that even with, average bulk with 75 defense and 85 special defense, the 110 HP really, really picks it up. Like, it lives hits that are super effective as long as it's not, stab and life orb or stab and specs or something like that. It lives hits that are super effective. Even if they're stab, it can take hits that are super effective as long as it's not, life orb or specs or bandit or something like that. So a little water break right there. So it's a really solid poke for that reason. It can switch into things like Stone Edge or EQ. It can't take it super duper well, but it can take them. It can probably take two, especially with Magic Guard. Makes that we can switch in without taking rocks damage. So calcs, if you, some people calc with, after rocks does this to a KO. With Magic Guard, we don't need to worry about that. It's also a very strong offensive Pokemon. Now you might be saying, offensive, huh? 125 special attack is the same as Zapdos's. It's higher than Kyurem Black's special attack, It's a very strong offensive Pokemon. It can be a very strong offensive Pokemon, especially because Magic Guard means that it can run Life Orb. And everyone knows the infamous Trick Room set. It's always going to be a thing, and you always have to prep for that. Because honestly, it's such a good Trick Room user. For itself and for other Pokemon, I could run Trick Room with, Trick Room Mega Scizor or something. Gets a really decent move pool, with its Psychic Stab, it gets Shadow Ball, Signal Beam. It gets Focus Blast up here somewhere. Focus Blast right there. It gets Flash Cannon. It gets Grass moves. It gets Thunder too, so it gets some decent moves. It can break teams with its crazy move pool if it's a Trick Room set or what have you. And it's such a great Pokemon to see, and I've never used it before, so I'm really excited to use Rain because I've seen it used really, really well. So I'm hoping I can use it as well if I've seen it be used, and I'm talking way too much. I'm going to start moving a little bit quicker. Next up on the team, I picked up a poke that I am very familiar with, being Snorlax. Our girl, T-Swizzle, is in the building. Now, usually I name Taylor, because, Taylor Swift. But T-Swizzle, we're naming her T-Swizzle this time. It's just the same exact thing. Taylor Swift, T-Swizzle. But I'm just naming it T-Swizzle because I feel like that's funnier. I don't know. I like that better, though. But Snorlax is very solid poke to normal type. Covers, every team doesn't need a normal type, but a normal type improves the team a lot because, it's a ghost immunity, and the only thing that it's weak to is fighting. So normal types are very solid in that regard. And Snorlax is one of the best normal types in the game. It honestly is one of the best normal types in the game. Now, it's nothing like Chansey. Wink, wink. Chansey's actually terrible. But it's a very solid type because it can do multiple things with its crazy stats. And I say crazy stats because 160 HP is crazy. With 110 speed F, that's insane. 65 HP, or not HP, 65 defense is very average, below average even. But with that 160 HP, honestly, it makes it super bulky. 30 speed, speed isn't really a thing that Snorlax needs because it gets Curse, which is its most threatening set. Curse Talk is the most threatening set that Snorlax can run, especially with a pretty decent ability in being thick fat. Makes it, take fire and ice type hits very well. I feel like it pairs really nice with these two, Zapdos and Scizor, because Scizor is weak to fire and this thing takes fire. Zapdos is weak to ice, this thing takes ice. So I feel like it pairs with those really well. Only thing it's weak to, like I said, is fighting, and we have a Psychic type and a Flying type, which eat up fighting type hits very, very well. Eat up very, very well. Now, this, of course, when it is weak to knockoff, but Zapdos isn't. So we have that. And Snorlax is really solid because, like I said, it can run Banded. I ran Banded plenty of times. It even gets Pursue, which is honestly one of the coolest things Snorlax gets. It gets Curse, which makes, bumps up its defense, lowers its speed. But like I said, speed isn't really a thing that Snorlax needs. And it's just a really solid poke. It gets a crazy move pool because it's a normal type. Normal types get the best move pools, basically ever, because they're normal types. And yeah, they learn everything. I don't know, it's crazy. And I really like Snorlax. I used it before plenty of times. I used it in TBU Season 2, and I used it in MPL Season 1, and I had a lot of fun using it in both leagues. Snorlax is always a poke that can consistently wall pokes, consistently switch into pokes, consistently do well. And that's my favorite part about Snorlax, that's my favorite part about it. Really looking forward to using it again, and yeah, I love it. Next up on the team, I decided, this is our last UU pick, I decided to use my Snipe action on Nidoqueen. Now, I originally wanted Tentacruel in this position. I don't know why I was going to change that, but I originally wanted Tentacruel in Nidoqueen's position, but Tentacruel was actually picked up by, I think it was picked up by Turbo, so I was unable to get Tentacruel. I like Tentacruel because I wanted it for, you know, T-Spikes and spinning capabilities. It also resists fire too for the Scizor, and I feel like that would do well, but that was sniped. I couldn't even use the snipe action because it was picked in the same round that I picked Snorlax. But Nidoqueen was picked in the next round, and I decided to use my snipe action for it because I really wanted to try Nidoqueen. You know, I wanted to try Tentacruel, but Nidoqueen's the next best thing. Nidoqueen also gets T-Spikes. It gets Rocks too. This is my Hazard setter. T-Spikes and Rocks, which is nice. It's a great ability in Sheer Force. Also, Nidoqueen is female always, and its nickname is Reina, which means queen in, I think, Spanish, or maybe it was French, so maybe it was both. I don't know, something like that. It means queen in one of those languages. One of the above languages, it means queen. So, Sheer Force is such a strong ability. I'll probably never use these two abilities unless I'm, you know, not gonna run an offensive move on Nidoqueen. But Sheer Force is such a great ability because of having the ability to carry a Life Orb. Makes Sheer Force such a great ability because of the Life Orb, which basically cancels out the Life Orb recoil and powers up while already adding the power up from the Life Orb. So it's just such a great ability with the crazy move pool that Nidoqueen gets from being a Gen 1 poke. Because as you know, Gen 1 pokes get like crazy move tutor moves and such. So it gets crazy move pool. Honestly, terrific move pool. Coupled with Sheer Force, coupled with the decent stats, offensive stats of 92 attack and 75 special attack. I say decent. It's not the greatest. Of course, 92, it's decent. 75, below decent. But with Sheer Force and Life Orb, it actually brings it up a lot. So it makes it, you know, a very strong attacker if I would like to use it offensively. Having 76 speed, it's honestly not the greatest. Its stats, honestly, from first glance, they look average. They look all average. But having all your stats being average is honestly decent. You know, it's not bad. It's not bad at all, having all your stats be average. Especially with the great ability like Sheer Force. Makes it so that you don't even need to put investment in your attack or special attack to hit decently hard to break subs and such. So that's really cool about it. And it's a very nice support poke for the rest of the team. As you can tell, I can't even speak. As you can tell from these two, they're weak to Rock, and Nidoqueen is my first Rock resist on the team, which is really nice for, you know, having the ability to resist Rock while also being a Poison type and being able to kill fairies. You know, Poison's great typing for that ability to kill fairies. So Ground is also terrific typing, being immune to Volt Switch. Especially being a Poison Ground, you're not immune to U-turn, but you resist U-turn and you're immune to Volt Switch. That's such a great typing defensively. You know, it's weak to a lot of things, you know, like ground, psychic, water, ice, but I believe those are its only weaknesses. Those four, I think, something like that. I can't think of any more off the top of my head. Yeah, I mean, I can't think of any more off the top of my head because it's not weak to ground, not weak to grass. I can't speak. I think that's all its weaknesses, and they resist a lot of things because of the poison and ground typing. They resist a lot of different things. So that's the Nidoqueen. Like I said, it's a poke that I really did want to use. I faced Nidoqueen a few times, and it's done pretty well against me. You know, it's a tough Pokemon to prep for because of its ability to run a lot of bulk and still hits pretty hard. So I'm looking forward to using Nidoqueen for that reason. It sets up T-Spikes. I don't really use T-Spikes much, but I like having the ability to use T-Spikes. So that's the OU and UU picks right there. Next up, we're going to dive into RU. How long has this been? 33 minutes. Oh my goodness. So next, we're going to dive into the RU tier. Now, my first pick on RU, I decided to pick a Hitmontop. I wasn't even sure I was going to get Hitmontop. I just, you know, I left before it was my pick, and I was like, hey, can you pick these for me? I told Bluesy, I believe, to pick these for me. And Bluesy was like, sure, man, I got you. And I ended up getting Hitmontop first, which is really cool. Hitmontop's a poke I did use before in the IPA Season 1. Season 1. I only used it about twice, I think, but when I used it both times, it did really well. Like, it did solid well. Drink some water. But people don't like Hitmontop, and, you know, I don't really, I mean, I kind of understand why, but Hitmontop's a solid poke. Like, it really is a solid poke with its decent abilities, you know, Intimidate and Technician. They're both decent. Steadfast is probably never going to use that, but these two, they're pretty decent abilities. I'm also nicknaming this thing Recycle because it's a male, not a female. So nickname it Reduce, Reuse, Recycle. That's what I'm nicknaming Hitmontop. Like I said, I used it twice, so I know how to use Hitmontop somewhat in League format, and it's a decent poke. You know, fighting typing is always nice. It resists Rock, which is solid. I think it resists like Bug and things like that. You know, it doesn't really resist much, but it's weak to like Fairy. like flying, and have pokes that resist those types from OU and UU. Honestly, I don't see myself using him on top in more than like 5 matches. In the 11 matches, I don't see myself using it in more than 5. If I do, I'll be surprised. But honestly, him on top's a pretty solid poke for the ability for the ability to have moves like Mach Punch, like Bullet Punch. Now there's Bullet Punch right there. I'll show you guys Mach Punch. Right here, Mach Punch. It gets Fake Out. It gets a lot of cool priority. It gets Rapid Spin. With Technician, it can take advantage of the Mach Punch. It can take advantage of, I think it has like Triple Kick or something like that. I have no idea what triple kick is. Where is it? Triple kick? I don't know. It can do some cool things with Technician. It even gets agility. It can do some cool things, but its main job is to spin and to check pokes like Excadrill, like T-Tar with Mach Punch. I don't think it OHKOs either of them unless it runs Technician. But it's a solid poke in that regard. It has a lot of priority, and it can spin, which is its main thing. It's a great support Pokemon. It gets a decent move pool, not the greatest, but it gets a decent move pool with things like Earthquake, with things like Close Combat, Gyro Ball for the fairies. It gets Pursuit. Probably will never use Pursuit, but it gets Pursuit. It gets Rock Slide and Stone Edge for the flying type. So it can hit the Pokemon that usually beat it. Like flying types beat it, hit it with a Stone Edge. Fairy types beat it, hit it with a Gyro Ball. It hits the pokes that can beat it, which is the best part about him on top. And it gets spins. It spins. That's the main thing. Why I chose him on top is spins, and it resists Rock, which is really nice. It gets Intimidate. Intimidate's decent, and yeah, so that's him on top. It gets decent. It can be a decent pivot. That's the main thing. I think when I used it as a pivot, as a spinning pivot, and yeah, it's decent in that regard. And I'm looking forward to using him on top in a few matches. I did briefly look over the matchups, and I think him on top matches up pretty well against a few teams. So I'm looking forward to using him on top again, and it's pretty cool. What does the shiny even look like? I have no idea. Look at you. So this is him on top. And yeah, that's him on top. Now, next up in the RU tier, I decided to pick up the most important member on the team, being Dugtrio. Now, you might be saying Dugtrio is the most important member of your team. What? Trip, are you okay? Now, to that I say, also we're nicknaming it Checkmates, because you can call girls mates. You can. It's a thing. It's a thing. It is. Trust me, it's a thing. Google it. It's a thing. Him on top. Not him on top. Dugtrio is the most important member of the team. Not the most. It's one of the most important members of the team. For one reason and one reason only. Now, you might be saying Dugtrio. Did I say him on top? I think I said Dugtrio. Dugtrio is one of the most important members on the team for Arena Trap. Now, that's the only reason why. Arena Trap is one of the best abilities in the game. Just like Shadow Tag, it's one of the best abilities in the game because it can trap Pokemon. Now, what it means to trap Pokemon, you switch this thing in on a Pokemon, you can trap it. They cannot switch out unless they're running the item Shed Shell. Shed Shell is the only way they can switch out, but to do that, they have to waste a held item, which is more than enough in itself. It forces your opponent to prep, because it can trap your opponent's Pokemon, and it can kill them, which is the best thing to have on your Pokemon in a league setup type thing, especially when your opponent knows you have a Pokemon that can trap and kill things. It means your opponent is going to prep for it by running things like Shed Shell, or maybe not even bringing that Pokemon, which is perfect. Now, why is that perfect? Because it makes your opponent either waste an item on your 1 or 2 checks to a certain Pokemon, or it makes your opponent not even bring that Pokemon because of risking it getting trapped and killed. It's Dugtrio. It's not the strongest Pokemon. It really isn't. But the reason Dugtrio works so well on this team, coupled with Arena Trap, it's very, very fast. 120 speed is nothing to laugh at. Outspeeds so many things. Even though it has a terrible BST, it doesn't need its bulk at all. It only needs its speed in attack, honestly. The best thing about Dugtrio on this team, now look at it. Dugtrio is a ground type, alright? It's a ground type. It gets Earthquake. I'll show you right now. It gets Earthquake. Okay, it gets Earthquake. It gets like a Stealth Rock, which is cool. But it gets Earthquake. It gets Arena Trap. Now, why is that so good on this team, you might be asking yourself? Because we have a Kyurem Black, we have a Zapdos, we have a Mega Scizor. You get it now? You get what I'm trying to say? Kyurem Black. What Pokemon check Kyurem Black? Let's see. Rock types and Steel types are probably some of the most common ways to check Kyurem Black. There's, of course, Dragon types, Fairy types, Fighting types. But Rock and Steel types are 2 types that check Kyurem Black most of the time. Now, Dugtrio is a ground type. It traps and it can Earthquake both of those typings. It can even, can trap Fairy types if they're weak, and it can Earthquake and kill them. It can even trap, Fighting types. It can Earthquake and kill them, and if they're weak somewhat. So, That's the reason Dugtrio pairs so well with Kieran Black. Why does it pair well with Zapdos? Because the same thing, but with rock types. And some of ice types, because they also get Stone Edge. Now, Mega Scizor, this is also the main reason. Mega Scizor is weak to fire. Dugtrio is ground type. It can trap fire types. It can kill that. Mega Scizor honestly can't even touch fire types. It can't. It really can't. But Dugtrio can trap fire types and it can kill fire types, which is the best way to pair with Mega Scizor. Honestly, like if your fire type needs to waste like a Shed Shell, an item to use a Shed Shell. And Shed Shell, of course, is the permanent item. It's not only a one-time use thing. It's a permanent item. But if I make your fire type waste an item just to beat Mega Scizor, that means it doesn't get recovery unless, it's like an Arcanine and it gets Morning Sign or like a Moltres with Roost or something like that. It basically means that it doesn't get leftovers recovery. And I can easily wear it down if I just Toxic it or whatever, what have you. I can beat it. And it pairs so well with those three. That it's so good. Like honestly, Dugtrio pairs with this team so well. Even with its mediocre stats other than speed, it just pairs with the other Pokemon so well. It can trap and beat your opponent's 1 or 2 checks or counters to a certain Pokemon. And if you kill those 1 or 2 checks or counters, you can basically win with that Pokemon, which makes Dugtrio such a scary Pokemon to face. Your opponent needs to prep for it, even against things like Memento. So even if your opponent preps for it, you can Memento and then set up with something and win. It's such a great Pokemon. I'm really looking forward to it. It even gets Rock, so it can be a Stealth Rock support Pokemon. But anyways, that's Dugtrio. I'm really looking forward to using Dugtrio. It's a great Pokemon, and I'm really looking forward to it, like I said. So next up on the team, I really wanted Jellicent in this position, but Jellicent got taken from me, so I decided to go with our girl Granbull. Now, I've never used Granbull before. Also, Dugtrio Shiny, because I like its little blue nose. Rudolph the Blue-Nosed Reindeer. Granbull, it's a very solid poke. I'm going to be nicknaming Granbull Alvina. Just kidding, I didn't even put it in. I'm going to be nicknaming Granbull Alvina. I don't know what it's from. I think it's like a fairy. I think it's a fairy. I think Shiny Granbull's like brown. Yeah, I don't know. So we're having a regular. Granbull's a decent poke. It gets Intimidate along with, him on top. They both get Intimidate, which is pretty good. I think, did I have another poke that got Intimidate? I don't think I did I? I don't. Okay, so I have double Intimidate core though, which is pretty cool. He also gets Quick Feet or Rattled. Probably never going to use those two, but double Intimidate core, which is really solid. Has the ability to run items. It's also a Cleric against Heal Bell. It's a Fairy type. It's immune to Dragon. It's just kind of there to be like, I got a Fairy type, and it has a really great attack stat. Look at the attack stat. 120 attack stat is really good, especially with something as strong as Play Rough. 90 power stab, Play Rough is really solid with 120 attack, and it can be a great support poke. It gets a lot of niche moves, like I said, like Heal Bell, it actually gets Taunt, so it can be a Stall Breaker. It gets T-Wave, it gets Toxic. It's a very solid poke. It doesn't get reliable recovery on its own, which is a bit unfortunate, but I can always Healing Wish or Wish Pass or whatever. I don't actually have a Wish Passer or a Healing Wisher user on my team, I don't think. But anyways, it's always a thing. It's mainly just here to be the Fairy type of the team, That's the main reason it's here for. It can pair pretty well with things like Zapdos, Nidoqueen, Snorlax. Pokemon like that pairs pretty well with them, which is nice. It also pairs decently with him on top. Decently doesn't pair the best. I can switch into things that sometimes beat him on top because of Intimidate, because double Intimidate, blah blah blah. Anyways, Granbull, it's a very decent poke. It's a niche poke. It's going to be used in a very few matches. I don't know why I clicked there. It's going to be used in very few matches, but when it's used, it's going to do its job. It can be a very solid Cleric. It can run 80. 80 is probably the most common set. And it's just a really nice poke, that's the main thing. It's a really nice poke to have to Fairy type. And yeah, and this is 43 minutes, so I'm going to start speeding this up a little bit. So that's Granbull. I've never used Granbull before, so I'm looking forward to it. I've also never used Dugtrio, but I'm really looking forward to using Dugtrio Granbull. I'm not really looking forward to it, but I'm looking forward to it because I like Fairy types. I don't really use Fairy types much, so I'm going to try Granbull out and see if it can do well. It's pretty much always going to be physical, not really special because terrible special attack, terrible speed too, but nothing we could really do about it. Now next up on the team, we actually don't even have a Fire, Water, or Grass type yet, so I decided let me start getting my Fire, Water, Grass core up in here. So I decided to draft Lantern. I'm going to be nicknaming Lantern Yachi after Yachi from Haiku. So we have Lantern. I really like Shiny Lantern. I think regular Lantern looks better in my opinion. Lantern is a very niche poke. I really have wanted to use Lantern for a few seasons now, I believe. Since like TBU Season 2, I've wanted to use Lantern. But I just never got around to it because there were different pokes that I drafted instead of it. But yeah, Lantern's a very solid poke. It's an electric type. I already have a Zapdos, but it actually pairs with Zapdos very well because only only types Lantern's weak to is grass and ground, and Zapdos is immune to grass, and it's immune to ground, and it's resistant to grass. So it's pretty solid in that regard, and Zapdos is weak to ice, and this thing resists ice. So they pair together very well like that. This resists fire for Pokemon like the Mega Scizor. It also resists steel for Pokemon like the Kyurem Black. And it's just a very solid poke. It's pretty bulky. 125 HP is very bulky. Those defense and special defense aren't the best, but with that 125 HP, it makes up for it. It's all of its stats are average besides the HP. Its attack and defense are below average. The rest are average. HP is very solid though. It can be a cleric. It gets Heal Bell. It gets Heal Bell right here. It gets Volt Switch, which is really, really nice. This is the main thing that I like about Lantern. It's a water type with Volt Switch. Scald. It gets this. Where is it? Where is the move? I don't think it's here. But it gets Whirlpool and it gets Soak. And you know what that means. 1 week we're bringing heat. I'm telling you right now, 1 week we're bringing heat. Whirlpool, Soak, and then hit it with the T-Bolt. It's going to be a lot of fun. It gets Discharge and Scald, which are two super super niche moves to have, because Scald, there's 30% chance to burn, Discharge 30% chance to paralyze, so you don't even need to run T-Wave to burn it, or to paralyze. Well, not to burn it, to paralyze. T-Wave paralyzes. So it's really solid in that regard, and I really do like Lantern. It's a very nice pivot Pokemon to use, in my opinion. And like I said, it's immune to Electric. Illuminate does nothing, but it can also be immune to Scald, so that's really nice. I don't have the best Scald switching on my team, as you can tell. Reuniclus does switch into Scald somewhat well, but Lantern switches into Scald even better. So that's the Lantern. Next up on the team, I decided to go with Tangela. Tangela is on the team now, so I'm nicknaming Tangela Sasha Jr. after my Tangrowths. I named my Tangrowths Sasha. We're nicknaming the Tangela Sasha Jr. I believe I made her female. Yeah, I did. So it's basically always going to be Regenerator. I'm not even going to deny that fact. It's basically always going to be running Regenerator. It does have the ability to run Chlorophyll, though. If I really want to run Sunny Day, I probably will never run that. But just in case, I do have the ability to run that. So Tangela now. Tangela is a decent poke. I'm not going to lie and say it's the best poke, but Tangela is a king. It is a king. You might be asking yourself, well, how is Tangela a king, Trip? Well, let me tell you right now, Billy. Tangela is a king because with Eviolite, it's actually bulkier than Tangrowth. It's bulkier than Tangrowth. I'll show you guys. It's bulkier than Tangrowth with an Eviolite. Like, look at this. I don't even need to go into HP, but basically, look at this. Look, Tangrowth, level 50. I'm not even going to invest at all, just so you guys can tell that it is bulkier. Well, actually, I'll invest. Look at this. Bold. It's 194. Look at, even without any investment, it's bulkier than a Tangrowth. With zero investment with an Eviolite, because Eviolite, it makes it one. We're always going to be running Eviolite on Tangela. I'm not even going to deny. We're always going to be running Eviolite on Tangela. Makes its defense and speed off 1.5 times. I don't even need to invest at all into, now the only downside is its HP is 65 and this thing's HP is 100, but because look at the HP difference. But the downside is the downside, like I said, it's HP, but upside, I don't need to invest in its defense to be bulkier than Tangrowth is. So that means if I invest in defense, it gets so much bulkier. This is even a positive nature. If I invest in defense, it gets so much bulkier than Tangrowth. It is ridiculous. And it is honestly, it's crazy. Like, it's so much bulkier than Tangrowth. It is insane. So that's the reason we have Tangela here on the team. And hopefully Tangela can do her job well and carry the team. Well, not carry the team, but be a strong backbone for the team like the Lantern is. It gets most of the same move pools that Tangrowth gets. It doesn't get everything. It doesn't get like Earthquake. It misses out on moves like that. A few niche moves like that it misses out on, but it gets the moves that it needs to, like Knock Off, like Leaf Storm, like Leech Seed, like Stun Spore, like Sleep Powder. It gets the moves that it needs to get to do well. It even gets Synthesis, so it gets the moves that it needs to get to do well against, it gets HP Part 2, it gets the moves that it needs to get to do well against the opponent's team. Earthquake's the only move that it misses out on that it actually uses, so that is the downside, but like I said, it gets Knock Off, it gets, the moves that it needs to get to do well in the team matchups. Only downside to it is it's such low attack. Like look at Tangrowth. Tangrowth's attack is much better than Tangela's. Though is Tangela faster? Tangela is actually faster than Tangrowth. I didn't even notice that. Wow. So Tangela is actually faster than Tangrowth. But yes, this is Tangela. I'm looking forward to using it as a decent pivot. I'm definitely going to bring it to a few matches. I'm not sure which matches yet, but I'm definitely going to bring it to a few matches because I want to try out this bad boy, see how much better it is than Tangrowth. I'm really looking forward to it. It actually also, in case you guys don't know, from a Life Orb Weavile, Tangela takes only about 55%, I believe, from a Life Orb Weavile. So that's an Icicle Crash, by the way, not an Ice Beam. Ice Beam does more. But anyways, that's Tangela. Next up on the team, we have the last Pokemon. I decided to go with Pyro. I originally picked Ninetales. I'll actually show you guys. I originally picked Ninetales, but I dropped Ninetales for Pyro, mainly for the speed. I really wanted the speed. Also, you guys can't see the female sprite here, but you can see the female sprite over there, so that's cool. Naming Pyro Nala after, the Lion King Nala. Pyro, it's a very solid poke. It's not the greatest. I'll probably never run Rivalry. I'll probably always run like Unnerved, just so that in case anything's running like a Fire Berry, I don't need to worry about it. I doubt anything's gonna run a Fire Berry just for my Pyro, but you never know. I might, maybe like Scizor will run it. I don't know, probably not. But just in case, I'll probably run Unnerved because Rivalry is probably never gonna actually come into play. So it's a decent poke. Like I said, it's mainly here for the special attack and the speed because 106 speed is such a niche speed tier. Honestly, it really is such a niche speed tier because it outspeeds things like Mine Shao. It outspeeds all the base 100 Pokemon like Charizards, like Zapdos, which I actually have Zapdos, like Gengar. That doesn't. What the heck? Gardevoir. I can't speak. Gardevoir, Garchomp. It outspeeds Pokemon like that. It outspeeds Excadrill. If we're both Scarf, we outspeed it. Jirachi. It outspeeds Pokemon like that. Doesn't outspeed things like Keldeo, but that's it's to be expected. It outspeeds a lot of Pokemon, which is the best part about Pyroar, and especially if I run this thing Scarf, which is probably what I'm gonna do when I bring Pyroar, because that's the reason I picked it over the Ninetales. So that because it has a higher special attack, because I'm probably going to be running it special when I do bring it, and it has a higher speed, which is the two most important things if you want to run an offensive fire type. Well, not the two most, attack two, but basically the two most important things if you want to run a special offensive fire type. It's going to be the special attack and the speed stat. The rest of the stats don't matter as much. So this is the Pyroar. It gets decent move pools. It doesn't get the best. It gets Fire Blast, Hyper Voice, Dark Pulse, and it's pretty much it. It gets a Wild Charge, I guess, if I ever want to run that. It also gets Taunt. So it could be a Stall Breaker, actually. It could be. I probably won't use it as a Stall Breaker, but it could be. You never know. You never know. But yeah, that's the Pyroar. Like I said, it's mainly here for the niche speed tier that it's at, sitting at 106, and the decent special attack at 109. And hopefully Pyroar can come to a few matches and pull its weight. And that is the team, the best Fire, Water, Grass Core in existence right here. These three, best Fire, Water, Grass Core in existence. And that is the team. So there you have it. That is your Dallas Staravias for the VPL Season 1. I'm really looking forward to the season. Like I said, really a lot of people in here that I would like to play. And this has been over 50 minutes. I'm going to try wrapping this bad boy up so I don't need to waste so much of my life rendering this thing. But anyways, hope you guys did enjoy this. It's probably going to be timestamps in the description. Probably not, actually, because I'm really lazy. But we'll see. Like I said, hope you guys did enjoy this. I did enjoy it. It was a lot of fun. I like doing draft analyses. But anyways, this is anyways way too much. Hope you guys did enjoy this. If you did, you know what to do. If you didn't, you know what to do. The week 1 battle, our week 1 battle against Skyranger is probably going to be going up in a week from today, possibly. Like I said, let me know what you guys think about having team analysis in the same video or having team analysis in separate videos. Just let me know what you guys would rather have. Let me know your thoughts about the team, and hopefully I will put the whole team on like a screenshot of the team right here so you guys can see it, and maybe put that as your background for your computer, for your laptop, for your phone, whatever you want to do. Put it as a background. Why not? Why not? I'm just kidding. You don't have to. You definitely don't have to. But yeah, that's going to be on this video. Hope you guys enjoyed. Have yourselves a terrific day, terrific weekend, terrific week. I'll see you guys next week for the week 1 battle, and hope you guys did enjoy this. It's going to be a really fun league. Really looking forward to a lot of Pokemon that I'm really looking forward to. Can't even speak. I've been talking way too much. We have basically what teams need. We have decent Stall Breakers with Granbull and Pyroar. Decent. Reno is also somewhat Stall Breaker. We have a lot of Wall Breakers. A lot of, Duckshow is even a Stall Breaker. You could say that, a lot of ways to set up and sweep. We have a lot of pivots, and I really do like this team because the most important way for me to play, in my opinion, the way that I play basically, I like playing with pivots. Pivoting around and pivoting into a Pokemon that can deal with your opponent's Pokemon is my favorite way to play. So I feel like this team accommodates that very, very well, and we'll just see how it goes in the week 1 match against Skyranger. Really looking forward to that. Like I said, it's going to be a terrific day, terrific weekend. I'll see you guys next week. That is going to be it. Have a nice trip. Goodbye!